Hello, yes, and welcome to another episode of MLS Ireland. Well, I'll be bringing to you my predictions for week. You know what? I actually haven't really figured it out what week it is, but anyway, it's a week, so stay tuned. Perfect, thank you very much for joining me. Yes, my name is Sean, and you are watching MLS Ireland does my prediction kind of stuff. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch too if you like. You don't have to subscribe, you can just follow if you want. No point giving me money when I really haven't done, unless you've won money on a bet that you can probably trace back to me saying that you could have done it, but then you could have just given. Well, it doesn't really matter. Just follow me on. Just perfect. We'll be friends then. Yeah, I did a midweek one there on Twitch. It went alright. I recently then bought myself a microphone. If you can understand that the sound is a bit better, but I bought myself a microphone because I kind of needed one. So saying that, one of my predictions is I honestly can't remember too much about what my predictions were. I should probably watch them over them. But anyway, I didn't do too bad, but you know, my predictions haven't gone great this week. Well, there's quite a few of them got right, but there's quite a few that I got wrong. So I'm not going to really dig down into them at the moment, so I might as well kick on into the next ones, which are this week's games starting Saturday at 6, I believe. 6 or something like that. It is New York City against Toronto, New York City FC. I beg your pardon. Coming into the game, New York City FC are probably obviously in a better run of form than Toronto at the moment, even though Toronto won their last game, which was pretty impressive against Columbus Crew. But New York City are dwindling along. They drew with Orlando, which isn't a bad thing away from home, but they have beaten Philadelphia, which is a good result, but they have gotten beaten by DC United. So this is the joys of the MLS, where you can't really predict what the hell is going on, but I try anyway. So saying that, New York City at home are preferably the better team, even though this is MLS. But I do think New York City are probably the better team coming into this, so I'm going to go for like a 2-0 win. I just think Toronto have played midweek and then having to come back and travel to New York to play in a baseball stadium, which I'm not 100% sure if it's at this baseball stadium. It possibly might not be. So I am not 100% sure. So yeah, I'm going to go for like a 2-0 win to New York City FC. The next one is Galaxy. See how we rhymed it there. Against Austin FC. You know, we're getting a lot of FCs and SCs and all that stuff. You know, all that kind of crap. So yeah, LA Galaxy, who are probably on a good wee run of form, where they're finally scoring. Hernandez is finally scoring. So saying that, they're coming up against the FC Dallas team, who now have Joe Gallagher. Come on, you boys in green. Playing quite well and actually scored his first goal the time they played. So congratulations to you, Joe. Coming into this game, I think LA Galaxy are the favourites. So rightly so. So I'm going to go for 3-1. I think Austin FC are going to score a goal, but I think it's going to be like, not a consolation. I think it's going to be like 1-1. I think Atlanta's going to score. Not Atlanta. Austin's probably going to score second. Then I think just LA Galaxy is just going to run away with it. So I'm going to go for like a 3-1 wins. It's not bad. The next one is Atlanta against FC Montreal, or Montreal Impact, whatever you really prefer, but I'm going to go with Montreal Impact. Are coming up against a Atlanta team who are, I'm not going to say that they're playing better, but they won a game this season. That was against Chicago Fire, but they drew with Inter Miami last week, and then they got beat by New England, which isn't a bad game. So this is their first game back at home in their big ass stadium, which is on a plastic pitch. Against FC Montreal Impact, who won their last game against Inter, so that's a good result for them, but they got beat by Vancouver. Again, MLS, fun. So saying that, these two teams are not going to be, they're going to be hard to predict, so that's why I probably went for a safe 1-1 draw. Yeah, these two teams, Joseph Martinez could be the reason why Atlanta could win this game, but they don't really play him all that much, so I think he can probably have a hand in the first goal, but Impact will have an impact later on in the game and probably get that 1-1 draw. So sorry, Atlanta. The next one is Philadelphia against New York Red Bulls. This is sort of a rivalry. Saying that, I think Philadelphia are the better team, but New York Red Bulls are starting to play that bit better. Philadelphia started off the season quite awfully. That's a county in Ireland, if you're curious. They drew against New England, Philadelphia, but then they beat Chicago Fire, but got beat by two teams they really shouldn't have got beat by. So saying that, they're coming up against the New York Red Bulls team, who are kind of on form, beating Chicago and Toronto quite well, 2-0. So they're coming up against the Philadelphia team. I do think New York Red Bulls will get two, but I think Philadelphia will also get two, so I'm going to go for a 2-all draw. I just think Philadelphia now are starting to get back into their stride. They don't have any Champions League to occupy them, and Red Bull are trying to get into this, but I think Philadelphia at home with fans, so I think they're going to get this. Going to be a draw, so this will be a tight one. The next one is Minnesota against FC Dallas. Two teams you wouldn't have suspected to be in it, and you're kind of right. FC Dallas started off quite badly, won a game, then petered off again. They're coming up against the Minnesota team who won their last game against Vancouver. So that's not a bad result. Vancouver are doing surprisingly well at this present time. So saying that, Minnesota should get a result. I think they get a good scoreline in this. So I'm going to go for like a 1-all. I think FC Dallas is capable of beating them. But so is Minnesota capable of beating Man City. It's just Man City. FC Dallas. What the hell am I thinking? Man City's playing later on. This is on a Friday. So yeah, so I'm going to go for like a 1-all draw. I just don't think these two teams are running. I don't think they haven't had their stride. That's the words I'm trying to look for. You're all probably screaming at the screen saying speak English, you idiot. Technically English is my second language, but anyway, the next one is Colorado against Houston Dynamo. Houston have surprised me this season. They've won 2 games quite easily against Sporting Kansas City, which is a good one, and they beat San Jose Earthquakes, who are doing very well at this moment. But then they got beat by Portland, who are not doing very well at this moment. So this is the MLS, and they're coming up against a Real Salt Lake team who have only played 3 games this year so far, so which is interesting. They lost their last game against San Jose Earthquakes, but they are doing pretty well. But saying that, I think Real Salt Lake are the better team going into this one. I will go for a 2-0 win. I'm not going to be... That one I'm kind of not 100% sure on, because Nashville are better at not letting in the goals, but they're just awful at scoring them. So I'm going to go for that. So even though Nashville beat New England in their last game, so that's not a bad result, but they drew their last 3, and it's not too bad. They got 2 goals, 0, and then 2. So they actually are capable of scoring goals, but I just not 100% sure them coming up against a Real Salt Lake team who are playing better at this time. That one could come back and bite me. The next one is San Jose Earthquakes against Portland Timbers. Portland Timbers are, I'm not going to say playing poorly at the moment, but they're playing quite badly. It's kind of the same. They're coming up against the San Jose Earthquakes, who you at the start of the season getting beat by Houston. You thought, oh Christ, here we go again. They're a very unpredictable team. Then you go, all right, they're going to get beat by FC Dallas, and then they completely annihilate FC Dallas. Then you go, right, coming up against DC United, you think that it's going to be a tight one. No, they beat them 4-1. Then you go, right, they're going to play Real Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake are a very good team. No, they 1-2-1. Right, they're coming up against Seattle. This should be a good game, and they got beat by 1-0, which isn't a bad result for coming up against Seattle, who are probably the best team in this, the most consistent team in the MLS in the last 5 or 10 years. So I don't care what anybody says. They are a spectacular run team at the moment. But saying that, San Jose should win this one. I'm going to go for like a 2-0 win. They're just a far better team. They've got a better manager. They're doing everything perfectly at the moment, and they're actually a joy to watch. And Wondolowski has finally got his goal for the season, which is making it it's making the season quite more nostalgic. I think that's a word. Anyway, the next one is Sporting Kansas City against Vancouver. I didn't go for much of a scoring goal game in this one, so I went for a 2-0 win. I just don't see these two teams. I know at this one here, I didn't really put too much I'm not going to say too much thought into. These just two teams are not playing all that great at the moment. They are kind of scoring goals, but in the last moment, I just don't see these two they're going to cancel each other out. I don't think it's going to be a high performance game or like a high, a great game, really, in fairness. So I'm going to go for like a 0-0 on that one. The next one is FC Cincinnati in their new stadium. Congratulations, FC Cincinnati, against Inter Miami, who are last year's new team, playing in their new stadium, which got flooded the other day, Wednesday. So yeah, they got rained off. FC Cincinnati, I like the way they're doing things at the moment. They're just not clicking. They're bottom of the league, drawing one and losing the next two. They're coming up against an Inter Miami team who you suspect to be doing better at this moment. They've only won the one game, but they've lost their last game against Montreal. They beat Philadelphia, but then anyway, it's a weird season. So they're coming up against an FC Cincinnati team. So I'm going to go for like a 1-0 draw. I just don't think this game is going to be. It is going to be an exciting game. I think FC Cincinnati at home are going to be they're not the greatest team. Inter is a better team, but them at home, season opener, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go for like a 1-0 on that one. Yeah, that one's going to be on TV here too. So I'm going to if you're in the UK or Ireland here, all their games are going to be on TV. Inter Miami is never going to be off the bloody thing. The next one is New England Revolution against Columbus Crew, or Columbus SC, whatever the hell the Crew is their nickname. Anyway, Columbus Crew. So yep, they're coming up against a New England Revolution team who are superior than them at this moment. Columbus Crew is capable of beating anybody really on their day, but for some god awful reason they're not doing all that well at this moment. They've only won the one game, and that was against DC United, which isn't all that good really, to be fair to DC United. But I'm going to say for New England Revolution 2-1 win. 2-1. So yeah, they're just they have the better manager. They're just doing everything perfectly at the moment, and I don't really see much wrong in what they're doing. They drew with Chicago Fire, beat DC United, beat Atlanta, got beaten by Nashville, but then drew against Philadelphia, which against Philadelphia is not a bad result because Philadelphia now are starting to come back into the season. So yeah, I'm going to go for that one, 2-1. DC United against Orlando. Orlando are the far better team. DC United are quite disappointing at this moment, even though that they won their last game against Chicago Fire and won their first game against New York City, but they got beat by Columbus Crew and all that kind of stuff. So, so I'm going to go for like a 2-0 win. I think Orlando are a far better team. Will they win? Because they don't really have much of a striker. So yeah, I'm going to go for like a 2-0 win. They just need plateau. They need a striker back. Like somebody like. There's a guy who plays for Barnsley. He'll be pretty good if they pick him up. But they may be out of their reach. God knows. So 2-0 to them. And the last game of the week is Seattle against LAFC. I think Seattle are going to win this one. It is going to be a great game. I'm thinking a lot of goals into this one. Seattle are scoring pretty good. They've only drew one game at this moment. They haven't lost a game. They're only an unbeaten team in this season, and they're coming up against an LAFC team who are not all that great at the moment. Where are they in the league? Where are they? Jesus. They're 19th in the Supporter Shield. They beat Austin and already played Seattle already this season and drew 1-0. So saying that, it's not going to go for. I'm going to think for 3-2 to Seattle. Seattle are the far better team. LAFC are still. There's still patches in their team that I don't really think is great for them at this moment. I don't see them doing too much this season. Seattle have, I think, they're going to collapse. That's the only way I think that somebody else is going to win this. So saying that, I'm going to go for like a 3-2 win to Seattle, and Seattle is victorious. Anyway, those were my predictions. I know I'm about 13-14 minutes in. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope to see you on the next one, and I hope you enjoy this. And if you're new, go ahead and like, share, whatever the hell you like, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.